Catch you in the sauna later, bro.
Ah, now all vegan bodybuilders are gay, according to Frank.
I want this to be clear. I have absolutely no problem with someone following a vegan diet, although some of you might believe that, and you might be a little right.
What's your problem with what I choose to eat? It doesn't affect you, and I'm causing a fraction of the environmental damage and suffering to others than you are. In addition, the industry behind my food doesn't cause zoonotic diseases such as the coronavirus. Yeah, thanks for that.
I also have absolutely no problem with someone taking steroids. The issue stems from people, how you say, not minding their own business.
Yeah, it's annoying when people don't mind their own business. For example, if some clueless, scrawny twerp were to accuse others of steroid abuse. Jealousy doesn't suit you, Frank. If you ate enough calories and learned to train properly, you might stand a chance of looking like you lifted too.
Hey, if you want to follow a vegan diet till your face falls off, go ahead. But when you start having seizures, your girlfriend has a miscarriage, your child's growth is stunned.
The word is stunted. Let's stop you right there, Frank. Where's your evidence? You're spouting tabloid headline nonsense with nothing to back it up. Let's see the data regarding the terrible health of all vegans. What's that? You can't find any? What a surprise. Accusing others of being weak, feeble and deteriorating, while eating nothing but meat and being weaker than drug-free vegan female YouTubers.
Same with people taking steroids and not being honest about it. Oh yeah, bro, I bench 800 pounds, all natty, totally, 700 for reps. Lightweight, baby!
The was that weird noise at the end meant to be? Which vegan YouTuber are you accusing of lifting 700 pounds for reps? Nope, we're just lifting a normal amount of weights. I can only imagine that it seems like 700 pounds to you because of how terribly far behind you are.
Catch you in the sauna later, bro.
Ah, now all vegan bodybuilders are gay, according to Frank. The people he's aiming that at, Derek Simnett, Brian Turner, John Venus, they've all got female partners. Having hung out with them all, I can see how happy and in love they are. So where on earth would that accusation come from? I can only imagine that it must be projection.
You were my first experience with the guy. And if we were still together, I wouldn't want to let you go.
Both of these groups of people are using an illusion to sell you products, food, supplements, and meal plans, whatever it may be.
Yeah, well, you're doing the same thing, except your dietary advice is going to kill people.
They are a bunch of dishonest liars.
Like when you hired that model to pretend to be your Valentine's Day, except both of your acting was terrible.
So the young lady did not disclose that she was vegan. You didn't do your research.
I did, I just didn't tell you about it.
You didn't tell me.
Yes.
So you are vegan.
Yes, but not ideologically.
Are you willing to eat fish? Today?
Today I'm willing to eat fish.
You're willing to eat fish. So how long have you been vegan?
Since the day I was born.
Yeah, sure, love. Frank, how come this is the only time that we've seen you with a female? Could you be trying to fool us with this one? Pull the wool over our eyes? Don't do that. We don't want any sheep harmed.
Little Miss Goody Two-Shoes vegan did not want to have, well, she had a little bit of fish, so maybe the DHA will activate in her brain later. But what did you think of the restaurant?
I eat cucumbers from your plate.
Yeah, that's what she had. So, as many of you guys know, I'm a big fan of blood flow restriction training, so we're gonna go do some of that right now.
Oopsie! Are you saying that the blood flow to your penis will be restricted because of the sex of the person that you're with? I'm not sure what else it could mean. Perhaps your brain made a little slip and let the truth out there. And you had all of that brain healthy DHA too.
And the term butt buddy is very suitable.
For Frank.
And they defend each other at any expense because they're butt buddies.
Men's butts. Yeah, friends tend to stand up for one another. I imagine you're just a little bit upset because of that time when Paul Bashir of Anonymous for the Voiceless made you look like a complete tool in that street debate. Yeah, and then you told your cameraman friend to come with you, but he didn't want to come with you. He wanted to hear the logic that Paul was saying, and he was interested in becoming vegan, and he didn't want to be your friend anymore because You just talk nonsense.
And I guess that's where I'm interested about it. I want to speak to some veganers.
What's going on?
I just want to
This
say,
guy's just wasting your time. What do you want us to do?
he knows, he's factual, bro. He knows what he's talking
I
about.
love how you're getting angry all of a sudden. I'm not. I just.
Now there is a contrast between the vegan butt buddies and the carnivore woo-wee butt buddies, and you know, depending on whether you're into you know, fairy boys or muscle men.
Yeah, call them fairy boys to their faces. You wouldn't, would you? All that manly meat and scared of a little fairy.
When you combine the two, the vegan diet and performance-enhancing drugs, you have a conflict of interest, to say the least. You have a diet that will cause you to waste away at the hands of various nutrient deficiencies.
Prove it. If you're going to state something as fact, prove it. You can't, can you? If all these millions of vegans are sick, there must be mountains of data on it. Just show us that data, Frank. For one time, just show us something to back up your whimsical fantasies.
Especially B vitamins and omega fatty acids.
You mean those same B vitamins that are ubiquitous throughout the plant kingdom, and essential fatty acids that are found in nuts, seeds and algae oil in high quantities and are found in other plant foods too?
Then you have synthetic laboratory substances that allow superhuman feats.
Just because this man is in great shape, Frank has to play the steroids card. Now, I don't know what other people do in their private lives, but unlike Frank, I have knowledge and experience of steroid use. I took them myself, I coached, enhanced people, hell, I even used to supply them years ago. Something I became uncomfortable with after going vegan and having what I would term a spiritual awakening. Some people are genetically gifted enough to look like they're on steroids when they're not, whilst others can take bucket loads of steroids and still look like Even with all this knowledge, I wouldn't want to speculate about Nemi, so you have no business doing so.
Someone taking steroids, even when on a vegan diet, if using modern plant protein powders, is able to achieve strength and physique far beyond what is naturally possible.
Do you mean to tell me that I only get 50 grams of protein per day from my 2 shakes and 0 from my food? Look at the size of me, genius. It would appear that I'm getting lots from my food too.
If either of these factors didn't exist, vegans would waste away just like the average person does when they go vegan.
My understanding of the data is that vegans are the only diet group to fall within the healthy BMI range. While BMI is not the best measure of body composition, the fact that we're in the healthy range and not below tells me that you're wrong. Again, Frank, show some data or shut up with your baseless accusations. It's embarrassing.
Without synthetic protein powders that turn these indigestible plant foods into available amino acids, and without the hormones to create unnatural muscle and strength, they would be just like every other skinny, fat, vegan soy boy schmuck. That's what some of you want, and then you want to put them in a dress and fantasize about it.
Projection, Your Honor. You goddamn right. Sustained.
These vegan bodybuilding clown butt buddies
Projection.
have been around for a while, but now with the Game Changers documentary taking off, they seem to have even more funding behind them.
What are you talking about, funding? What the hell makes you say that? Show your workings, Frank. Where's your evidence? Seems to be a recurring theme. And more importantly, James, where's my share?
Pushing the agenda of plant-based performance.
Who sounds like that, other than you, just now?
At what point do you think they're gonna realize they're pushing their luck? They lie about the health prospects of a vegan diet.
Oh no, there's one person who's under-eating. The healthiest diet in the world must make everyone malnourished.
The environment.
Have you not seen the devastation going on thanks to animal agriculture?
The moral aspects.
Crop deaths again. The 140 billion farmed animals eat far more crops than any humans ever could. Once we stop farming animals and more people go vegan, there will be more veganic farming and even less animals will need to suffer.
Now they went full 180 and are saying you can be strong, muscular, athletic on a diet that literally results in the opposite.
Provide evidence. You can't provide evidence ever, can you, Frank? There is no evidence because you're just making up lie after lie. If I'm wrong, provide evidence. Just once.
In my Game Changers review, I already debunked every single athlete, if you can call them athletes.
Well, they're 10 times the athlete that you'll ever be. If you can't even call them athletes, you should be easily able to outperform them. Just one of them, just once. Break the record of one of them in whichever discipline you like. You won't be able to, will you, Frank? Imagine that all that meat and can't even be a vegan non-athlete. How pathetic.
So let's take a look at the vegan butt buddies in this picture. First, we have Chris Moore, and by all means, I think his physique is obtainable as a natural bodybuilder with decent genetics, but all of these vegan bodybuilders,
Why the air quotes? They're all twice the bodybuilder that you'd ever be.
are doing the same thing on their Instagram. They're saying they looked and felt terrible when they were eating meat. Now suddenly they go plant-based and they are super muscular and fit.
Use your girly voice all you want. You seem to enjoy it. But that guy does look a ton better after the diet switch. You can't deny that.
If we go back to the beginning of his Instagram, he claims he started veganism in June of 2017, transforming his physique dramatically by December of 2017. And this is an exceptional transformation by anybody.
It is very good, but to be fair, he had a good level of mass already in the left pic. I don't see it as a reason to believe that steroids had to be involved.
A vegan diet does not provide adequate nutrition to synthesize muscle tissue, let alone lose fat at the same time.
So the evidence, Frank, just saying something doesn't make it fact.
If you were to use steroids and consume amino acid packed protein powders, that's a different story though.
I've trained drug-assisted and drug-free, as a vegan and as a corpse muncher. And I've trained many others from all walks of life. In my experience, what you're saying is complete nonsense. Show me your evidence. Oh yeah, you can't back up a single lie you say, can you?
What makes this unrealistic is the 1 year difference from June of 2017 to June of 2018, where he went from being a limp fairy boy to a chiseled statue. If this was the truth, there would be more than 5 muscular vegan people on this planet. like there's literally 5 of them.
That's weird, I can count more than 5 of us in this one single photo. Frankie, you're full of Frankly, you're full of
Then we have Simnett Nutrition, and as with most of these vegan bodybuilders,
calisthenics athlete, get it right. In Derek's discipline, it's important to have a very good strength to body weight ratio. He's not trying to get huge like a physique competitor.
the level of muscle is achievable for a natural bodybuilder eating meat.
Well, scientifically speaking, and in my experience, there is virtually no difference in protein synthesis whether the amino acids come from meat or plants. Just emphasizing the word meat doesn't make it far superior. Scientific data could. Show me the study, show me the study, show me the study.
So if we go back to February of 2015, Simnett is looking much less impressive, higher body fat, less muscle. Later that year in September, he leaned out quite a bit and put on a significant amount of muscle, allegedly on a vegan diet.
And why wouldn't he? Plants make amino acids, not animals. They just get them from the plants, oh my God.
In April of 2016, he looks much larger, probably put on over 20 pounds of muscle since his first picture in February, which has only been a year.
Apparently what you don't realise is the fact that Derek is quite short. While it would take a taller man 20 pounds to look that different, not so in the case of a shorter guy. No. While looking impressive, I see nothing here that would definitely necessitate steroid use.
Then if we look at November of last year, more than 3 years later, he has a similar amount of muscle mass. I would suspect he's on, TRT or a maintenance dosage of hormones.
No one should care what you suspect, you're clueless. The reason he's not getting massive is because he's not trying to, because he's a calisthenics athlete. Maybe you should look that up.
On to Brian Turner. We see the vegan versus meat eater comparison, in this case with his acne.
Yep, puffy and acne covered versus lean with clear skin. Now, which is the better choice?
Brian put on most of his muscle before going vegan.
This is due to the law of diminishing returns. After the first 2 to 3 years, gains will be minimal. Sorry, Frank, your attempts to discredit the vegan diet are irrelevant and invalid.
Here he is in April 2015 with a similar amount of muscle to what he has now.
Well, duh, he's been lifting for many years.
And I would speculate that he's using a low dosage of something to maintain his muscle mass. It appears that you need low doses of steroids as a vegan to get the muscle mass of a normal person eating meat.
Only to your mind. Apparently speculation is evidence to you. It must be nice going through life believing whatever nonsense makes you feel the most comfortable.
Then the vegan trainer claims he's been vegan since 2010, but he doesn't have any pictures before 2019. But we are seeing similarities between all of these people. Above average physiques, likely obtained with performance enhancing drug usage and plant-based protein powders.
So the, I can't do this anymore, what a numb